Hey, this is Michelle Bo and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make some rockin' pierogies, some mashed potatoes and cream cheese pierogies. It's going to be a wonderful side dish that can go with any meal that you fix. I personally like to cook it with a roast. It adds a really good texture. Pierogies are basically dumplings that are shaped like a pie. That's how they get their name. They're a Polish recipe. So let's get started. We're going to take 10 red potatoes. Red potatoes work best for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're really good for how you're going to use the skin. You don't have to peel them and take the time to worry about that. They make a really pretty inside of your dish. When you're serving the dish, when people cut into their pierogies, they're going to have something really pretty to look at to give it that splash of color that it's going to need. Also, they're more tender. They'll cook better. They have a better flavor. Okay, let's get these into our strainer. Get these washed off, and then we'll add them to our water and bring them to a boil. Now that we have our potatoes rinsed, we're going to add them to our good and boiling water. We're going to let them cook up. Now that we have our potatoes boiling, we're going to go ahead and make our dough for the outside of the dumplings. We're going to get a bowl and put in 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. Whenever you're putting flour into a cup measure, it's good if you stick your finger down in there just a little bit to take care of any open spots and then scrape along the top. That way you know you don't have any empty pockets inside of your measuring cup and you're getting the exact measurement that you need. Next, we're going to add in half of a teaspoon of salt. You want to whisk up 1 egg in a bowl separate. That way you make sure you don't have any of the shell inside your bowl. And that way it won't get into your flour mixture. Whisk that up really good. And then you want to add that into your flour mixture. And you also want to add just a touch of cold milk. That's going to give it a little bit of stickiness that you need. We're going to mix this in, just barely. You don't even have to form anything yet with it. How I've got this butter softened. That way it's going to mix in good. Just break it up a little. Put it around inside of your bowl. And you're going to take 4 ounces of whipped Philadelphia brand cream cheese. The whipped cheese is better. It works kind of like a sour cream. I do put sour cream in my pierogi dough at times, but I really wanted to give it that special flavor that's going to combine itself with the mashed potato mixture that I'm going to put inside. So you want to get the whipped. And now you're going to get your hands dirty. Stick your hands in here and you just start kneading this dough. You can do anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes on this. Just mix it around, make it all one solid thing. If you find that it's too crumbly, too bready, too floury, you can add some more of your milk, but add it very tiny bit at a time because it doesn't take long for this dish to become too sticky. Great. Now that we have our dough formed into a good and soft but hard ball, we're going to shape it around. We're going to put some plastic wrap over it for about 10 minutes. We've got our potatoes boiling and we've got our dough rising for our pierogies. We're going to make some of the filling that we're going to put in with our mashed potatoes that are going to go inside of our pierogies. I'm going to melt 4 tablespoons of butter. I've diced up, really small, 1 small onion. And we're going to use 1 minced garlic clove. I like to just use it out of the jar. Every time I try to mince a garlic clove, it doesn't turn out right. So I just like to use what the good Lord in the grocery store gave me. Is pre-minced garlic. Okay, now we're ready to make our dough for our pierogies. What I'm going to do, this is a trick I learned from my mother-in-law, is just take a portion of your floured dough, and you're going to work with that and keep the other covered by plastic wrap. That way you don't have to roll out a large amount. So I'm just going to shape this together. I've got a floured surface here. I've got my handy-dandy Polydine rolling pin. I'm going to flour my dough. I'm going to flour my rolling pin and start rolling out. Now I'm going to tell you a trick that I myself have had to work with a lot, and that is I'm not going to roll this out as thin as you would think that I should. And the reason is after I cut my circles of the dough, I am at that point going to roll those individual circles out to make them even bigger. What I like to use to cut them is a shot glass. If you weren't watching this, I would use the shot glass first and then use it on my dough. We're going to cut out, let's just go ahead and make maybe 4 or 5 of these. Now here's where the trick comes in. You want to make these bigger. Now you just roll these out. And now, look how that is paper thin. Look how good that looks. That's perfect. So we just want to make a few of these. Set them over to the side. Okay, our onions have come down a really good bit. They're looking really good and starting to get that translucent color. Of course, it's a little yellow because I am a fan of butter, and I did put a good bit of butter in here to give them that good flavor. Let's add our 1 garlic clove, which with this pre-minced is 1/2 teaspoon. We're going to mix that in, and right away you can smell the garlic coming up through the onions. One of my favorite smells is cooking garlic. I wish you could smell this. All I'm doing now is I'm straining out my onions. I really love to cook them in the butter and get the butter flavor all the way through, but you don't want too much butter to add into your potato mixture. It will make it too moist. So I strained my potatoes. I put them back into the same pot they came out of to keep them warm for just a few minutes. I'm adding the onions. And now I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to mash them up. You do not want to blend these. You want these to stay fairly thick because you're going to be sticking them inside of dough and boiling them. We have 2 different types of cheeses that we're going to add. We're going to add 4 ounces of Philadelphia brand cream cheese, and we're going to add 4 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. Okay, we're stirring this up and our cheeses are blending together. They're melting really good. We've got our Philadelphia cream cheese. We've got some sharp cheddar. Look how good those are mixing together. Now we're ready to make our pierogies. What we're going to do is we're just going to take our dough that we rolled out really thin. Just put maybe a teaspoon of your potato mixture inside. What I like to do is just take a little bit of this milk, brush it along the edge all the way around, and this way it's going to stick together completely. Just smash your potatoes down in there, push it together. Another thing that you can do is you can just time these with a fork so that you're guaranteed that they're not going to open up on the inside. And there you have pierogi number 1. Now we have all our pierogies made. We've got some water boiling, pre-salted. Let's go add these in, and we're going to boil them 3 to 5 minutes. Now we're ready to pull our pierogies out. We're going to just put them in a strainer really quick, and then we're going to rinse them with cold water. Alright, now that we've got our pierogies rinsed out with the cool water, we're able to work with them more. Look how good that looks. That's cooked up really well. We're going to place them down into our hot butter and fry them up. First thing I'm going to do is just set it on a paper towel, pat the butter off, and then gently place it on the plate. Look how perfect that looks. Okay, now that we've got these plated up, I just want to show you again. We've got such a great crunchy outer coating here that's going to be really good. Let's just take a dollop of sour cream, put it right here in the middle. Perfect to serve it with. Really makes a yummy side dish. Okay, and now we're ready to give this a good taste. Let's look at the inside, show you what it's going to look like. Right there, right away, you can see that red potato skin. Look at that. Look how pretty that looks when you take it out. And now you've got not just mashed potatoes, but you've got really creamy Philadelphia cream cheese creamy pierogi. That's perfect. The first thing you taste when you take a bite is you taste the mixture of the 2 cheeses together. This is so much better than just serving a typical side dish to any of your meals. I hope you'll give this a try. Thanks for watching my video.